From leaked sex tapes to an awkward moment with Natalya, and then the leaked audio from her real-life meltdown with Alberto Del Rio. Paige has been at the center of some of the most jaw-dropping controversies in wrestling history, and in this video, we're diving into the most disturbing moments that leaked online. Moments so raw and uncomfortable, fans couldn't stop talking about them. Let's begin with the infamous private content leak of 2017. Perhaps the most devastating incident in Paige's career occurred in March 2017, when she became a victim of what some media outlets referred to as fappening 2.0. Explicit photos and videos of Paige were hacked and distributed online without her consent, causing immense emotional distress and public humiliation. This horrific privacy violation included private WhatsApp conversations with fellow wrestler Xavier Woods and videos featuring Paige with former WWE superstars Brad Maddox and Xavier Woods. The impact of this violation on Paige was devastating. In interviews, she has openly discussed the severe emotional toll it took on her mental health. She revealed that the leak led her to thoughts of suicide, showcasing just how damaging such privacy violations can be. In her own words, she described the incident saying, "I made a big mistake. Huge. I put trust in the hands of someone that took advantage of a young girl years ago." While many might have crumbled under such intense public scrutiny, Paige showed remarkable resilience. She publicly acknowledged what happened and expressed gratitude for those who stood by her during this traumatic period. "I'm blessed beyond words to have a family and a husband that stuck by me because they know who I am," she stated in one of her public addresses regarding the incident. The response from WWE was notably supportive, albeit mostly behind the scenes. Rather than publicly addressing the leak, which might have drawn more attention to it, WWE executives privately assured Paige that they didn't hold her responsible and worked diligently to remove the content from the internet. Officials like Mark Carano reportedly told her, "It's not your fault," offering much-needed support during her crisis. Her family's response was equally protective. Paige's mother, Soraya Knight, took immediate action, announcing on social media that they were pursuing legal options against those responsible for spreading the leaked content. On X, formerly Twitter, Soraya posted updates about taking legal action, including identifying the hacker's IP address and contacting lawyers. She even shared a checklist of actions taken, stating, "IP addresses taken, reported, blocked, emailed, lawyer." The legal landscape for such cases had some precedent. In a similar 2014 celebrity hack, a perpetrator named Ryan Collins was sentenced to 18 months in federal prison. However, the specific outcomes of legal proceedings related to Paige's case remain unclear from available public records. What's particularly admirable is how Paige transformed this traumatic experience into an opportunity for advocacy. In subsequent interviews and public statements, she has emphasized the importance of privacy awareness and the human cost of online harassment. "We are human. Unfortunately, people don't see it that way when they are behind a keyboard," she noted, highlighting the disconnect that often occurs in online interactions. The leak happened during an already tumultuous period in Paige's career, which included suspensions for wellness policy violations, making the timing particularly challenging. According to The Sun, this convergence of professional and personal crises created a perfect storm of negative publicity. Moving on to our second incident, which, while less personally devastating than the privacy violation we just discussed, still generated significant controversy within the wrestling community. The suggestive licking incident with Natalya. On October 28, 2014, during a WWE main event match in Houston, Texas, Paige was involved in what became known as the licking incident with fellow wrestler Natalya Neidhart. This match was part of the Post-Hell in a Cell episode, which featured several notable bouts, including a rematch between The Miz and Damien Mizdow and the USOs, as well as Bo Dallas facing US champion Sheamus. The Paige vs. Natalya match had an added layer of intrigue as Natalya's husband, Tyson Kidd, provided commentary during the bout, according to detailed match recaps from Diva Dirt. The match began with typical technical exchanges between the two talented wrestlers. However, midway through the contest, Paige executed a move that would become a talking point among fans for years to come. In a provocative and unexpected action, Paige licked the side of Natalya's face, catching both Natalya and the audience off guard. This wasn't part of a standard wrestling repertoire and seemed designed specifically to shock and provoke a reaction. Paige ultimately won the match by rolling up Natalya with a handful of tights, a classic heel tactic that reinforced her rebellious character. But it was the licking incident, not the victory, that dominated post-match discussions among wrestling fans. What made this incident particularly interesting is that it wasn't just an isolated moment in the ring. It became part of a broader storyline explored on WWE Total Divas, the reality TV show produced by WWE that gave viewers supposed behind-the-scenes glimpses into the lives of WWE's female wrestlers. According to Wrestling Inc.'s recap of the Total Divas episode, before the match, Natalya had specifically reminded Paige to keep the match PG. When Paige went ahead with the suggestive licking action anyway, it shocked other divas who were watching backstage. The episode depicted Natalya confronting Paige afterward, expressing her frustration over the boundary crossing. In the dramatized interaction on Total Divas, Paige defended her actions as a way to get the crowd going and make Natalya work harder. The tension between the two is eventually resolved in a somewhat humorous manner, with Natalya setting boundaries but also playfully responding by spanking Paige and grabbing her chest, all part of the show's blend of wrestling and reality TV drama. This integration of the in-ring incident with the Total Divas storyline suggests that the licking moment was likely a deliberate creative choice designed to blend traditional wrestling with reality TV elements. It aligned with Paige's portrayal as unpredictable and rebellious, contrasted with Natalya's more conservative character. Fan reactions to the incident were deeply divided. Some viewers, as documented in wrestling forum discussions, found the moment hot and reminiscent of edgier WWE eras that featured more provocative interactions between wrestlers, like those between Lita and Trish Stratus. Others criticized it as cringeworthy and argued that such actions diminished the seriousness of women's wrestling. One particularly revealing comment from these forums noted, "Male brain likes it, wrestling fan brain cringes," while another suggested it was probably for Total Divas storyline, indicating that fans were aware of the cross-promotional nature of the incident. A thread titled "Paige Licking Natty Main Event" reportedly garnered over 34,000 views and 89 replies, demonstrating the significant interest and controversy the moment generated. The incident also fueled fan speculation about potential romantic tension between Paige and Natalya, though no official WWE narrative ever confirmed this beyond the reality TV context. This speculation highlights how such provocative moments can take on lives of their own within fan communities. This incident stood out as a particularly bold move. The fact that no official disciplinary action was publicly known suggests that WWE viewed the incident as part of the storyline rather than a genuine breach of conduct. Our third incident represents one of the most ethically questionable moments in recent WWE programming: the controversial reference to Charlotte Flair's deceased brother. This incident crossed a line that many fans felt should never be approached in professional wrestling, using a real-life tragedy for storyline advancement. Let's set the scene. Paige and Charlotte were embroiled in a heated rivalry, leading up to their Divas Championship match at Survivor Series 2015. To build tension for this match, WWE arranged a contract signing segment, a common device in wrestling to escalate feuds before pay-per-view events. The segment was intended to intensify their rivalry, but what transpired shocked viewers and sparked immediate controversy. During the segment, Charlotte emotionally mentioned her late brother Reed, incorporating this real-life tragedy into her character development. Reed Flair, the younger brother of Charlotte and son of wrestling legend Ric Flair, had passed away on March 29, 2013, at age 25 due to a heroin overdose. This was a genuine family tragedy that had deeply affected the Flair family. The moment was raw and emotional, but things took a dark turn when Paige fired back with a line that shocked the entire arena, especially given WWE's PG-era programming, which typically avoids such deeply personal attacks. Social media erupted with criticism, with some defending it as part of wrestling's dramatic tradition, but many others deeming it unnecessary and disrespectful. What makes this incident particularly complex is that, according to backstage reports, the line wasn't an improvisation, but was pre-planned and approved by Charlotte herself. Former WWE creative writer Tom Cassiello revealed on the Agenda podcast that Charlotte had actually pitched the idea of using her brother's death in the storyline. Charlotte later confirmed this in a February 2016 interview on the Sam Roberts Wrestling podcast, where she stated they needed heat, indicating her approval of the line to enhance Paige's heel character. However, not everyone in the Flair family was comfortable with this creative decision. Charlotte's mother, Elizabeth Harrell, was reportedly enraged by the segment. Ric Flair, while visibly affected during the broadcast, later expressed that he wasn't upset with WWE, though the emotional impact on him was clear to viewers. In her podcast interview, Charlotte expressed surprise at the fan backlash, noting that her family had faced criticism before. She questioned whether the storyline made her look bad, emphasizing the realism needed in wrestling storylines. This reveals the complex ethical calculations that wrestlers and promotions must make when incorporating real-life tragedies into fictional narratives. The storyline culminated at Survivor Series 2015, where Charlotte defeated Paige via submission, retaining the Divas Championship. Notably, the reference to Flair was not revisited in subsequent segments, and WWE largely abandoned this angle, possibly due to the negative reception it received. Our fourth incident shifts focus to what appears to have been a genuine backstage dispute that spilled into public view via social media. The bullying feud with Lana. In November 2015, a notable feud erupted between Paige and fellow WWE diva Lana, CJ Perry, on X, formerly Twitter, centered around allegations of bullying during their time in WWE's developmental system, NXT. The conflict began when Lana posted, and then quickly deleted, a tweet accusing Paige of bullying her during their shared time in NXT. This deleted post set off a heated public exchange that would have significant backstage consequences. Interestingly, this online dispute coincided with Paige trending on X due to a separate segment on Raw, suggesting possible overlap between personal and professional tensions. Paige wasted no time responding to Lana's deleted accusation. She questioned why Lana would delete the post if it were true, suggesting that Lana was lying and simply seeking attention. Paige's response included pointed remarks. "Okay, sweetheart, you were there barely 2 months. If it was true, you wouldn't have deleted it." Followed by, "Too bad you lie all the time," along with hashtags #TMZ and #AllYouWantIsFame. These hashtags referenced the public announcement of Lana's engagement to Rusev, which had reportedly caught WWE off guard and disrupted planned storylines. This connection suggested that Paige was linking Lana's bullying accusation to a pattern of publicity-seeking behavior. Lana countered by defending her character, posting, "I actually am an open book of honesty. I apologize when I'm wrong and take responsibility for my actions. Nice try," and calling Paige mean and disrespectful. Bye. This escalated the personal tone of the exchange, moving it beyond professional disagreement into more personal territory. Paige's final response in the exchange was particularly telling. She told Lana to stop trying to get a storyline, suggesting that Lana was using the feud for professional gain rather than addressing a genuine grievance. This comment, along with some others in the exchange, was later deleted, possibly at WWE's request, indicating that the company was monitoring and potentially trying to contain the situation. What makes this incident particularly interesting is that it appears to have had real backstage consequences. According to reports from the Wrestling Observer newsletter, Lana received significant backstage heat over the exchange. This was part of broader issues WWE had with Lana at the time, including her engagement to Rusev becoming public and forcing the cancellation of a planned storyline involving Rusev and Summer Rae. Speaking of Summer Rae, she publicly entered the fray by defending Paige on X. She posted, "Bullying is a very real and serious thing happening today. This word should not be thrown around lightly as it can be damaging if someone is falsely accused. At Real Paige, WWE is no bully in or out of the locker room." This defense added another dimension to the conflict, suggesting divisions among the female performers and possibly indicating that Summer Rae had her own reasons to side against Lana, given her involvement in storylines affected by Lana's engagement announcement. Importantly, multiple sources confirmed that this feud was not a scripted work or angle, but represented genuine backstage tension. The Wrestling Observer explicitly stated that the dispute was discussed backstage as a legitimate issue, adding credibility to the notion that this wasn't merely a performance for the fans. No major public resolution to the feud was reported in the immediate aftermath. However, years later in 2020, Lana offered some additional context about her experiences with bullying in the wrestling industry. In response to critics of her TikTok videos, Lana clarified on X. That last tweet wasn't directed to at Real Paige WWE or at Nat B Nature, but directed to every person that comes onto my timeline and bullies me for having fun. Bullying is wrong to anyone, period, DTT. This suggests that while the specific 2015 conflict with Paige may have faded, Lana continued to navigate issues of bullying throughout her career. In another interview, Lana discussed dealing with bullies both in and outside of wrestling, referencing her WWE storyline with Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler and her experiences with online hatred. She expressed hope that her resilience might inspire others facing similar challenges, showing how these personal experiences can sometimes be transformed into positive messages for fans. Backstage fight and public meltdown with Alberto Del Rio. Our fifth incident takes us into one of the most troubling chapters of Paige's career, her tumultuous relationship with fellow wrestler Alberto Del Rio, José Luis Rodríguez Chucuan, also known as Alberto El Patron. Their relationship, which lasted from 2016 to late 2017, was marked by multiple public incidents and allegations that painted a disturbing picture of toxicity and potential abuse. One particularly notable incident occurred during Impact Wrestling tapings in 2017. According to reports from the Wrestling Observer newsletter and comicbook.com, Paige and Del Rio had what was described as a huge backstage fight. While the exact cause wasn't specified in reports, Del Rio later provided some context in an Instagram post, mentioning extreme fatigue and jet lag. After 1 hour of sleep jet lag and nearly missing the flight, I made it to at Impact Wrestling. This suggests that physical and mental exhaustion might have contributed to the volatile situation. Despite the reported intensity of this backstage altercation, sources noted that everything appeared fine the next day, indicating that the couple had temporarily resolved their differences. However, this incident was just one in a pattern of public and private conflicts that characterized their relationship. Another disturbing incident occurred during an independent wrestling show where Paige proposed to Del Rio in the ring. According to discussions documented on Reddit, this public proposal was problematic on multiple levels, not least because Del Rio was reportedly still married at the time. What made this incident particularly disturbing was what allegedly happened backstage afterward. After the proposal, Del Rio reportedly grabbed Paige by the throat backstage, saying, "Can't believe you did that to me, ha ha ha." While he later claimed this was done in a joking manner, this action was particularly concerning given that Paige was dealing with serious neck issues at the time. Fan commentary on Reddit suggested this was part of a broader pattern of toxic behavior, exacerbated by alleged substance abuse issues. The couple was also involved in a public incident at a Florida airport in 2017. According to popculture.com, Del Rio was investigated for an altercation that turned physical, with the Orlando Police Department being contacted. While witnesses saw Paige with Del Rio, it wasn't confirmed that she was the victim in this specific situation. No charges were filed, and Paige later clarified via X that they had notified authorities due to an unruly fan stating, "We got the cops involved. I'm crying because I found out bad fam news, and a lady tries to take a pic. She gets angry, throws a drink on at Pride of Mexico." Perhaps most disturbing are the allegations of abuse that emerged after the relationship ended. In an interview with GAW TV, Paige described enduring severe physical abuse from Del Rio, lasting 6-7 hours, with beatings every couple of minutes, eventually becoming a daily cycle. She stated that she initially fought back, but said the abuse normalized over time. The emotional impact was so severe that Paige later compared Del Rio to Voldemort, refusing to say his name. Del Rio has consistently denied these allegations. In interviews, he claimed to be the victim and alleged that he possesses video evidence of Paige being violent toward him, including incidents where she allegedly hit him in the face and neck. He stated, "If I wanted to in my hands, I have the power to take Paige out of her job in 2 seconds," but claimed he hasn't released these videos out of respect. He also asserted that they had a $1 million confidentiality agreement, which he accused Paige of breaching by speaking publicly about their relationship. In 2020, Del Rio faced serious legal troubles when he was charged with aggravated kidnapping and 4 counts of sexual assault by a grand jury. While these charges involved another ex-fiancé, not Paige, she commented on the situation saying, "Karma is a real thing." These charges were later dropped, but the incident further complicated the public narrative surrounding Del Rio's character and relationships. Del Rio also made financial claims about Paige, telling Lucha Libre Online that she had less than $70,000 in the bank, no house, and no car during their relationship. He expressed regret about their relationship's direction, saying they could have built an empire together, but took an unfavorable path. Their engagement finally ended in late 2017, following Del Rio's suspension from Global Force Wrestling, formerly TNA, now Impact Wrestling, in July 2017 due to domestic violence issues involving Paige. This tumultuous relationship coincided with other challenges in Paige's career, including her leaked private content and wellness policy violations, creating a perfect storm of personal and professional crises. Our sixth incident marks one of the most devastating moments in Paige's professional career, the injury that would ultimately force her into early retirement. Career-ending injury during live match with Sasha Banks. On December 27, 2017, during a WWE house show in Uniondale, New York, Paige suffered a career-altering injury during a 6-woman tag team match that would change the trajectory of her wrestling journey forever. Paige was teaming with Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville against the trio of Mickie James, Bayley, and Sasha Banks, Mercedes Kessner Varnado. The match was progressing normally until Sasha Banks delivered a routine kick to Paige's back, a move known as the Yakuza kick that Banks had performed countless times before. However, on this occasion, the consequences were immediate and severe. According to first-hand accounts, Paige collapsed after taking the kick and experienced temporary paralysis. The referee quickly recognized the severity of the situation and signaled an X, the universal sign in wrestling that indicates a legitimate injury requiring immediate medical attention. The match was immediately stopped. In interviews after the incident, Paige revealed the horrifying reality of that moment. She knew instantly that her career was over, despite not feeling pain initially. "I remember being on the canvas and thinking, oh my gosh, I can't feel my legs. I can't really feel my arms," she recalled. Paige started crying in the ring as the reality of the situation set in. Despite the severity, she refused a stretcher and walked out with medical staff assistance, showing tremendous courage in a moment of crisis. Initial medical assessments suggested the injury might be a stinger, a common wrestling injury involving the nerves of the neck or shoulders that typically causes shooting pain and temporary weakness. However, further evaluations, including an MRI, revealed much more significant damage. A neck specialist compared Paige's spinal cord damage to injuries seen in severe car crashes, offering her 2 stark options: retire immediately or undergo surgery and then retire, with no possibility of returning to in-ring competition either way. The medical assessment process was described in detail by Paige in interviews. Initially, a doctor suggested it could be a stinger, but WWE physician Dr. Amann later confirmed that the MRI and X-rays looked concerning. A second opinion from a neck specialist in Pittsburgh reinforced the severity, leading to the difficult decision to retire. What makes this incident particularly nuanced is Paige's consistent defense of Sasha Banks. Despite some fans directing anger toward Banks for delivering the kick that ended Paige's career, Paige has repeatedly stated nothing was ever Sasha's fault. She expressed being upset by fans chanting "Sasha sucks" during the incident and emphasized that wrestling inherently carries risks, particularly given her pre-existing neck condition from previous injuries. In interviews, such as on Lillian Garcia's Chasing Glory podcast, Paige detailed the emotional aftermath of the injury. Banks stayed by her side backstage, crying and apologizing profusely. Paige reassured her, saying, "If it wasn't you, it was going to be somebody else." This perspective remained consistent across Paige's public statements about the incident, showing remarkable maturity and professionalism in not blaming her colleague for what was essentially an unfortunate accident in a high-risk profession. Paige officially announced her retirement in April 2018, confirming the news via a tweet. She later gave an emotional retirement speech at WrestleMania New Orleans, which she described as a full-circle moment from her debut. This transition marked the end of her in-ring career, which had spanned 26 years, beginning when she was just 13 years old and had formed a fundamental part of her identity. The emotional impact was profound. Paige described calling her parents while sobbing, devastated by the end of her wrestling career. WWE supported her through this transition by keeping her involved in the company, offering her a role as SmackDown general manager after Daniel Bryan stepped down from the position due to his own health issues. She also remained part of Total Divas, allowing her to maintain her connection with the WWE audience in a non-wrestling capacity. Paige's WWE contract eventually expired in July 2022, and as of April 2025, she has not returned to in-ring competition, though she has expressed interest in potentially returning if medically cleared, citing the comeback of Edge, Adam Copeland, as inspiration. Our final segment focuses on a different kind of controversy: Paige's outspoken presence on social media, particularly her explosive rants against WWE and wrestling fans on X. Explosive X Twitter, rants against WWE and fans. After leaving WWE and rebranding as Saraya in All Elite Wrestling, AEW, she has become known for her unfiltered opinions and confrontational approach to fan interactions online. One particularly notable incident occurred in September 2023, when Saraya posted a scathing critique of wrestling fans on X. Wrestling Twitter is so soft, it's because it's a bunch of misogynistic neckbeards or stan accounts who can't tell a wrist lock from a padlock, but they follow everything I do. Watch my tweets, search my name, keep me trending. trending. That's showbiz, baby. This inflammatory statement, reported by Fightful, reflected her growing frustration with the internet wrestling community, IWC, particularly those critical of her work in AEW. Her disputes with fans sometimes extended beyond social media into her televised performances. In March 2023, during a live AEW event, Saraya insulted the audience by calling them stinky T***Ts, language that violated broadcast standards. This resulted in her being fined by the company. She later addressed this disciplinary action on X, stating, "I indeed got fined for saying T***T on live TV," as reported by Daily Star. Rather than showing contrition, her tone suggested a certain pride in pushing boundaries, consistent with her rebellious persona. These incidents weren't isolated. In July 2023, Saraya recounted a negative airport encounter with a fan on X. "I met a real-life Twitter wrestling fan today at the airport. He said, 'I'm a big fan of you.' I said, 'Sick man, thanks.' Then he said, 'Well, actually, I'm just a fan of Paige, not Saraya.' I was like, 4 a.m. insult. Love that for me." This post, highlighted by Sportskeeda, illustrated the tensions arising from her rebranding and the divided loyalties of her fan base following her move from WWE to AEW. Her general disdain for wrestling's online community was further emphasized in October 2023 when she posted, "Nobody hates wrestling more than the IWC." This statement, discussed extensively on Reddit, demonstrated her awareness of and frustration with online criticism, particularly targeting fans who engaged with her content primarily to criticize. Saraya's contentious relationship with WWE became particularly evident during disputes over the company's policies. In October 2020, when WWE announced new restrictions on wrestlers' third-party accounts, including Twitch streams, Saraya, then Paige, voiced strong opposition. She had built a substantial Twitch presence with over 140,000 followers and rebranded her channel from official page WWE to Saraya Official in protest. "Twitch is my place that I build with my wonderful fans," she posted on X, later adding, "I'm proud of what I built with my fan base," as reported by Game Rant. This clash highlighted her resistance to corporate control over her personal brand, a theme that would continue in her post-WWE career. Her frustrations with WWE were likely compounded by her challenging experiences with the company, including her forced retirement due to neck injuries in 2018 and 2 suspensions for wellness policy violations in 2016. During those earlier controversies, she had posted messages like, "Same ST, different day," and "Kids, please don't get prescriptions or doctor's notes. Not acceptable," reflecting her dissatisfaction with WWE's policies and enforcement. Fan reactions to Saraya's social media presence have been predictably mixed. Some supporters appreciate her authenticity and willingness to speak her mind, while critics view her as unnecessarily confrontational. After incidents like the stinky T***Ts comment, responses on X range from enthusiastic support to harsh criticism, creating a polarized discourse around her public persona. Her transition from WWE to AEW and adoption of the Saraya name instead of Paige has clearly alienated some of her original fan base, contributing to the tension evident in her social media interactions. That's it for this video. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed it, make sure to hit that like button and check out the videos on your screen for more shocking stories just like this one. Trust me, you don't want to miss what's next.